Caught my wife cheating on me, and I know exactly when it started. I caught my wife with AP in our bed and I kicked him out of my house. Oh boy. This is long. Me, 44M, and my STBX, F39, been married for 11 years, no kids. We were a pretty chubby couple until 2 years ago when I had a blood test and it came out that I was prone to contracting diabetes, gout, and hypertension. It really scared me and we both bit by bit started to have a very healthy life. I went from 117 to 85 kg and my wife, let's call her Jane, from 83 to 65 kg. We felt great and needless to say I never developed those diseases. We attended to a gym almost daily in the afternoon where AP worked as a coach. Let us call him Baldy. When my wife started getting in shape I noticed most guys turned to see her. I felt so proud of her. She is fairly busty and she has magnificent legs. Of course Baldy wasn't the exception. I notice Baldy likes to check women's butt. I've seen him doing it several times, and he likes to show off how ripped he is. When Jane and I were regulars at the gym I noticed she was enjoying the attention she got from men. Once we were using the elliptical machines, in front of them there is a cable machine. Baldy took off his t-shirt and started doing crossovers. I turned to my Jane my face of can you believe this guy, but she was staring at him and she wet her lips. I saw Baldy and I swear he was grinning. I felt crushed. I mean, I was getting in shape but I am not as muscular and fit as he is. When we were driving home, I make a comment about Baldy showing off and Jane said really? I didn't notice I told her you were staring she said I don't remember. I must have been thinking in something else I shrugged it and kept driving, but from there on I noticed they were talking more frequently at the gym. Some weeks later Jane was doing sit-ups using the Smith machine. Suddenly Baldy went to help her, isn't he nice? He was touching her waist and I got angry. She finished the first set and I got there and told him in a not nice way I got it from here. Baldy just similed and told me no problem buddy, he calls everybody buddy, and walked off. Jane knows me very well and heard my angry tone. She just said OMGOP. I told her we'll discuss this at home. At home drama blowed up. She called me immature and jealous. I told her I noticed he was trying to get into her pants. She said that she knows that but she would never cheat on me. I said then why she let him touch her and she said she didn't want to be rude. About an hour later arguing we agreed to change gym. So we went to another place to do exercise but Jane was resentful at me in the following months. Her argument was that I don't trust her. On the third month after we changed gym, a very good opportunity opened up in my job, but in the afternoon. I took it and we had to attend the gym at different hours. I went in the morning and Jane in the afternoon. This is when it all went south. Jane's resentment increased and we barely speak. I send her messages telling her about my day, that I miss her, memes. But she rarely replied or just yes, okay, same here, haha. I was very worried and proposed couple therapy. She said I was the one who needs therapy because I'm the one with trust issues. I agreed. I was so desperate to fix our marriage that I even thought it was all my fault. So the following year I went to therapy but Jane's behavior didn't change. We weren't intimate anymore, she never was in the mood. I snooped to her phone but didn't find anything out of the ordinary. I searched her car for a second phone. Nothing. I tracked her phone and map history. It only showed me housework, house, gym, house. Whenever I tried to talk to her, she just said she feels that she's having a 40s phase. It'll pass. I never had any evidence of cheating so I continued working and worrying. We live in a condo. The security guard, a very cheerful man called Mr. P, greeted me. We chat a lot. He was touching his shoulder and told me yesterday he had to move a heavy sofa and he has some pain today. I was sympathetic and he dropped the bomb. Maybe you can arrange a meeting with your massagist. I told him who? He said the guy who came yesterday to massage Mrs. Jane. It took me a second to process this. I told him, do you have a video of him? I think he noticed I was pale and hurried to show me. Guess who? Baldy, of course. He has come a few times to massage my wife. I took the day off and started investigating. I asked a coworker for his car, and in the afternoon I followed Jane. She parked her car at the mall where the gym is, and there is Baldy waiting for her. They giggle and behave like a couple. Kisses, hugs, and I feel nearly to tear. They walk a couple of blocks and go into a residential area. I tried to follow them with my phone ready to record, but the guard stopped me and asked, "Can I help you?" I just said, "What a nice couple, do you know them?" He said he think they are newlyweds, but can't tell me anything else. I called Jane but never answered. I returned to the mall and wondered why that place doesn't show on the map. I dial again and I can hear her phone inside her car. That's why. I also found out Jane hasn't attended the gym in 8 months. I didn't know that day was the last day I slept with Jane in the same bed. I returned the car and went home and called my parents. Fortunately, my dad answered and I told him everything. I was crying and he comforted me and told me to get evidence. Obviously, my marriage is over, and I need all I can gather while he'll contact one of his friends who was an excellent divorce lawyer. Jane called me when saw the 2 missing calls. I just told her I was already at home and she told me I'm on my way from the gym. My butt is killing me, yeah, I can guess. When she saw me she asked, "What happened, why did you cry?" I don't know how, but I was mentally focused. I smiled and told her I got the flu, that's why I left work early. Don't come near me, it might be the bug, I'll be tested tomorrow. I'll sleep in the spare room. She agreed. I cried silently and didn't sleep a wink. Nearly midnight I heard her giggling. I guess she's messaging Baldy, but I didn't find any evidence of contacting another man. Then it hit me, why didn't I see it earlier? I bet AP is disguised as one of her female co-workers. In the morning while Jane was in the shower, I took her phone and created a session in my laptop and put her phone in the same place. We both can unlock our phones. The session works while the phone is close to my laptop or in the same Wi-Fi account. Then I saw it. Under a female name, the profile picture was a dumbbell. I entered and most of the conversations were deleted. I guess they use work words as code in case I snooped. Can you deliver the papers in my desk? I know she doesn't have a desk at work. Going to the meeting, where are you? On the top of them, boss is in his office. He's clueless, pretty clever. I guess I am boss because I know her boss is a woman. Jane got out of the shower and saw me. You look worse, why don't stay with your parents? I denied the idea, thinking of getting evidence. After Jane went out I contacted my dad and gave me the name and number of the lawyer. I called him and explained everything. He told me the captions are useless, they don't have any factual evidence since it's not AP's name, and she was smart enough to leave pieces of conversation that looks pretty innocent. I can take pictures of them at the mall, but she can argue they are just good fellas and I can't invade into the residential area without permission because it might get me into more trouble. At work I was in zombie mode, thinking how to get evidence. I might install secret cameras in my house, but Baldy rarely goes to my home and Jane might find them. Unless I'm out of the picture. I texted Jane and told her I'm positive of the bug and I'll stay at my parents' because I might need help. She liked the idea and told me she would miss me but she'll call me every day. When I hung up, I called my dad and my brother. When I got home she has already packed a suitcase for me. She was so eager of getting rid of me. I told her I'll take my laptop and then I checked her messages. Boss will be out of the office, wanna come to my desk? She sent this message almost after I told her I was positive. Good, she bit. We didn't had dinner, no kisses, no hugs. I noticed her watching the time twice. From the door I told her, I'll miss you. I was expecting her to shut the door on my face, but she walked me to my car. And I was gone. My dad and brother were outside the building waiting for Baldy to appear, but he didn't show up. I thought, why did she walk me to my car? Of course. Because Baldy was already inside the building waiting, perhaps inside her car. I came back, hurried to my house and entered silently. I heard music coming from the bedroom and the moaning. Next to the door there is a sofa, his and her clothes were on it. I put my phone to record and opened the bedroom door, and there she was, my wife, the love of my life for 11 years in all four, and Baldy behind her. I got a very good seconds of both of their faces when they saw me open the door. Jane screamed and covered herself with the blanket. Baldy went alpha male, immediately walking naked towards me. I took a shot of him doing raw my wife. He yelled aggressively at me, "Why don't go for a walk, buddy?" I hit his throat with my hand opened. I saw this movement in the Mel Gibson movie Ransom. The next second Baldy was coughing and gasping, kneeling on the floor. I yelled, "Get out of my house," and kicked him out. I threw his clothes at him when my dad, brother and Mr. P were arriving to my house. I told them, "I'll take it from here," and closed the door. Jane was still on the bed covering herself. She was trembling. I told her, "I have never hurt you, nor will I. Get dressed, I'll wait you in the living." While I was waiting I sent the video to my lawyer and he answered jackpot. A few minutes later Jane showed up. She couldn't see me in the eyes. I started recording the conversation. I asked why. She didn't answer. Was I such an awful husband to you? She started crying but didn't answer. Do you love him? Noting. I stand up and hit the table. Say something, Jane. Damn it, she opened her eyes wide and started trembling again, like a puppy when is scared. I sat and talked calmly. My lawyer will contact you for the divorce. Get a lawyer, she finally spoke. We can fix this. Fix what? Our marriage was over since Baldy was on the picture and you choose him over me. It was a mistake. No, it wasn't. It was a choice you chose, and this is the consequence. What did you think would happen when I find out? Silent again. Go to your sisters and tell her the truth, or I will show her the video. She went to the bedroom and started packing. I followed her and watched. Since 2 days ago I was trying to convince myself my wife is long gone. The person who I shared my house with is not my wife. But seeing her, putting her clothes inside the suitcase neatly, with her gracious movements and those little things I love of her, hit me hard. I went to the spare room and started ugly crying. I heard when she closed the main door. She picked her clothes that were on the sofa. She made the bed where I caught them and I dropped on the floor. So much later I called my dad. He told me Baldy wanted to press charges, but Mr. P told him he didn't register in the entrance, so he's trespassing. The condo can sue him. He dropped it and went out. My nosy brother pressed his ear on the door and my dad took him from the other ear to his car. I was exhausted. The previous days I didn't sleep well. So I almost passed out on the spare room. Next morning my phone had a lot of Jane's messages apologizing and asking for a second chance. I just blocked her. My SAL called me. Apparently Jane hasn't told her what happened, just that we're fighting. I guess it's good my FIL is not alive to see Jane's behavior. She was the youngest and his favorite. MIL has senile dementia. All this happened a week ago. Next week Jane is going to be served. TLDR, I caught my wife with our gym coach in our bed and I know when and how it started. Update 2. Jane sent me a letter explaining what led her to cheat. Update 2. Hi again. I didn't expect to update so soon, but something important has happened that I'd like to share, something that my therapist told me. Do you remember I started therapy because Jane suggested I'm having trust issues? Turns out I don't have any. I'm one step to become a very gullible person. But the therapist noticed I have a lot of insecurities due to my obesity. Since I remember I was the chubby nerdy guy at school. Never boyfriend, always best friend. I had my first girlfriend at 18 and she dumped me a week later for a better looking guy. I went to an engineering high school, so ladies were few. My next relationship was at my 20s with a very toxic girl who blamed me for everything, even for the rain. She really did a job on me, making me feel guilty for anything that pops in her mind. Later I started working because my family had money problems and I didn't had another relationship until I met Jane at university. The previous session to the last one with my therapist, we discussed my feelings about not having kids. She has helped me to get my priorities in order. Number 1, me and everything that covers myself like physical, health, gym and eating well, intelligence, studying, learning, mental challenges, and soul, beliefs, moral ethics. Number 2, people who lives with me, Jane. Number 3, family and friends. Number 4, work. Number 5, leisure and entertainment. Last session was about Jane. The therapist asked about my plans. I told her I will divorce Jane. She told me it is normal I'm in such distress, because my priority too is crumbling. I will have to pass for similar stages of grieving death, denial, anger, bargaining, depression and acceptance. I had to Google them because I forgot them. I am in the bargaining stage Beccacues and thinking a lot of what ifs. E.g. what if she really is remorseful? What if we're the golden couple who will survive an infidelity? But the reality is that I will never trust her ever again. It will kill me knowing she's at home alone, doing God knows what when I'm at work. Torture for me. Depression is a dangerous stage in my case, because it can lead me to gain weight again. I should stick to the gym and watch closely my diet. Hope this info helps people who are grieving. Now the update. I've been very busy. I applied for a promotion at job. I could have taken it long time ago, but it demands lots of traveling. I feel it will help me heal to be away. Also, I've been looking for a new place to live and I found one small apartment perfect for me. I've already paid 3 months of rent in advance. I'll move as soon as possible. I haven't seen Jane since D-Day or Baldy since that Monday when, I am sure, he was fired. On the bright side, one of my neighbors, a lady in her 50s, met me in the condo's elevator. She told me she hasn't seen Jane lately. I told her we're slipping apart, and then she happens to remember she's having a dinner and her single niece is coming for a few days and I'm invited. It took me by surprise. Looks like I'm in the market again. My attorney told me Jane was going to be served last Friday, but we had some festivities in my country so she was served last Sunday morning at my in-laws' home. The following Monday somebody, Jane, I guess, slided a letter under my door. 3 sheets back and front, from Jane. Mainly explaining about what led her to cheat. Here we'll introduce the second villainess in the story, a co-worker. We'll call her Flirty. I've met her sometimes at Jane's work events, like Christmas or anniversary celebrations. She's really thin, almost skinny, and usually wears a lot of makeup. Also, she thinks every man wants to sleep with her. One time she told Jane I was staring at her. I did once, because I could see her ribs and I thought she was unhealthily thin. Anyway, according to Jane's letter, when she lost weight, Flirty approached her because she wanted them to be best friends since they are the 2 hotties at work. That's when the brainwash started. Flirty made her think she deserves a better man. She's entitled to. She told her I was a pathetic man that will try to own her now that she's hot. When the incident with the Smith machine happened, Flirty said, Jane, see? Didn't I tell you? He wants to be your owner more than your husband. Jane bought it, and due to Flirty's manipulation she was resentful to me for months. When we attended the gym at different times, Jane met Baldy accidentally at the mall and he approached her. She confessed she had a crush for a guy similar to Baldy before I met her. She never told me that before. They went for a bite and they both flirted. Jane showed Flirty Baldy's picture from FB and she told her she'll be a dumb B***tch if she didn't F him. Besides, her pathetic husband, me, doesn't compare with that Greek god. She had the opportunity, she was eager to, so she did. Baldy took her to his house that coincidentally is close to the mall where they ran into each other, so she doesn't know that's Frank's dad's home. All this happened 9 months ago. Flirty is a professional cheater. She told Jane how to cover her tracks, the work words code, to hide Baldy's contact and to hide her map tracking historial. She even told her that changing her phone password is stupid because I'll immediately suspect. Jane noticed Baldy hated when she talked about me, and as punishment he made hickeys on her body. Now I remember she started using pajama to sleep because it was cold. He used to trash me, but she never played along. Meanwhile, Flirty used to tell her that she's entitled to this romance and I deserve being cheated on because I'm a beta. During those months she says she liked the feeling of danger, the thrill, and the sex with Baldy was good, but it also hurt her seeing me struggle trying to be a better husband and knowing she was the reason of my pain. It was easier to ignore me and continue with the pleasure Baldy gave her. D-Day arrives. I completely blindsided her, she thought I was clueless. I'm going to write this part just like she wrote it. I was in shock and I covered myself with the blanket by pure instinct. When I reacted, I saw you pushing and kicking Baldy out of the room and the house. When I heard you closing the door and coming back, I didn't know what to say. I have never seen you this angry before. Then you said I have never hurt you, nor will I. That's true. In the years we've known each other you have never hurt me, not even when we found out that it's my fault that we can't have children. After that she heard me crying in the spare room. She wanted to comfort me, but how could she? In the main door we have a mirror to check ourselves before going out. She looked at herself, but she couldn't bear the look. When she entered her car she cried and told herself, "What have I done?" Baldy called her that night, but she blocked him. She arrived at Sal's house at about midnight, 2 hours later after the drama. Her house is around 40 minutes from mine. She was scared of telling Sal what happened because she's older and she has a very strong character. Next day she told Flirty what had happened. Flirty told her she should be happy that she got rid of me. I'm going to copy this part too. J, and then what? F, babe, you are free, you can have sex with Baldy or any guy you want. J, and then? F, I don't follow you. J, what will happen when I'm tired of having sex with a buck of guys? F, then you can decide which one dates seriously. J, and then what? F, I don't know, get married I suppose. J, but I already had a marriage. F, but it was with OP. He's a loser, I bet Baldy is 100 times better than him. J, no, that's not true. He gave me a good life. F, don't settle for so little. You can have a better man. Then they proceed to have a big fight in front of the co-workers. She can't recall it well, but she remembers swearing and yelling at her. Flirty told her that any guy hotter than me is better than me. I don't get what she has against me, but Jane realized what she destroyed. She was inconsolable and her boss let her go home early. The next day is when I showed Sal the video. Jane was babysitting Sal's twins. After I drove her home, Sal asked Jane to help her going to do some errands, just the two of them. That was a lie. They parked at a park and she demanded to know what was happening in her head to cheat on me. Jane cried and told her I don't know. Sal confessed she was envious of our marriage. 11 years and not a huge fight. We both looked happy. She couldn't believe her little sister was capable of such thing. Jane was there for Sal when her ex-husband left her for another woman. Jane asked her not to kick her out, but Sal told her she can stay. After all, that house belongs to both of them, but she let her know she's very disappointed and she will side me if I ever need her help. Jane understood. Next Sunday Jane came to apologize, but I was not home. When she received my attorney's card, she called and my attorney confirmed I hired him. She knew I was really going to divorce her, so she went to her new home and wrote a confession and sent it to everybody we both know. I started receiving messages and phone calls the following week, but I didn't want to read or answer. Now I've read some of the DM and it is what she said, most of them want to comfort me. One of her cousins said it takes guts to confess, so I should give her a try. The following week she tried to distract herself with work, but it seems everybody now knows she cheated. If you are unfaithful, in my country people see you like an easy woman, so female co-workers don't talk to her, particularly Flirty. And male co-workers are annoyingly friendly to her. She asked to be relocated, but it'll take months, so she quit her job the following Friday. She has a good amount of savings. We had our finances separated, and since I was the big earner, I paid for almost everything. Next day she was looking for me in her words to beg me take her back. She came here, but when she saw I wasn't home, she went to my parents. My dad refused to speak to her, but my mom was sympathetic and told her that she's sorry about all this, but her son, me, is really hurt and asked them not to talk about her anymore. Jane understood, but then went to my brother's. He told her OP is not here and frankly I don't want to talk to you, and closed the door in front of her face. She came back to her new house very sad. All last week she has been reflecting about her actions and she's been really depressed, realizing how much damage she has done to our relationship, to her family and mine. And all for meaningless pleasure coming from a douchebag that, in her words, believes vaccines are just a pharmacy scam, and believes in astrology. Yeah, Baldy is heavily tattooed, he has a Taurus sign on his arm. Sil suggested her to go to therapy. I don't blame her. If my brother were in the same situation, I'd be very disappointed, but I try to make him realize what is wrong with him. She finally went to therapy and her therapist suggested writing me this letter and come clean to me. So she says all written in the letter is true. She swears on her life if I take her back, there will be no spouse in the history of humanity more grateful, loyal, and honest than her. She suggests total access to her social media, that I already had. She will always answer my calls no matter the situation and to never have friends that I don't approve. There are more things about family and friends that I don't think it's important to share. Besides, it needs a lot of context. Finally, she pleads to meet me and let her apologize properly to my face. In her words, sorry doesn't start to describe what I'm feeling right now. What do I think of this letter? The things I can confirm is that she hasn't contacted Baldy till that Monday when he was fired, and she confessed to family and friends. The rest could be partially true also. I am sure it's been sweetened. For example, she does not mention when she called me jealous and immature. She does not mention letting Baldy do her raw and she let him finish inside. She can give me all her passwords, but she lied to my face and gaslighted me for 9 months, according to her, and she was very good at it. Besides, I don't want to be her jailer. As I said, I will never trust her ever again. Whenever I see her face, I'll also see Baldy's name in front of her. I will not be her second option, nor will be a doormat. I haven't replied yet, but I think I'll see her next weekend. TLDR, Jane sent me a letter. This is what she wrote and my reaction.